Okay, so here's my steamer setup. I got a, I don't know, 50-cent teapot from a garage sale that we bought 20 years ago, probably at a garage sale. An elbow. Inside this, I've put, taken a silicone cupcake portion there and just kind of put a little seal in there and a hole in it that the teapot tip can go through. I've taken and put a few screws through the pipe to make sure that my slats don't slide down any farther than that. I've clamped it into my bench jaws, my vise here. And then I've just stuffed a t-shirt in the end of it, and I've got my slats down inside there. And we're just going to wait for 20 minutes or so. And that's getting a little hot. I'm probably going to have to change the gloves, but once that's baked for 20 minutes, I am going to go over here to my little stand that I've got set up with my stem mold in it. And I'll bend them onto it, and then I'll take this one off, and I'll put the other one on, and I'll bend the other 6 pieces. Well, we'll see if this holds up, because you can see, as you look at my PVC, it's getting pretty misshapen here around where it's clamped into the vise. So we'll see if that thing just wilts when it gets too hot. But anyhow, it tells you there's some heat going on in there. I mean, PVC should easily withstand boiling water. So I think we've got a pretty good bit of heat in there, and that's really what melts the lignin in the lumber to allow it to be flexible for a short period of time. So hopefully we won't have a collapse of our system here. Okay, and so here's how Mr. Steamer worked out. You know, basically we've got all 6 pieces steamed and bent. You can see they're formed right around the mold. There's the first one, or the second one actually, and there's the first one, just kind of resting in there. But that steamer worked like a charm. And within a matter of minutes after steaming, of course, it took 20 minutes to steam, a few minutes to warm up, and 10 minutes to put together my super steamer. We are all done with that. So the next step here is just let these rest for a while so that they both dry out and just kind of get used to their new shape. And then I will epoxy them together, so in 3s, so that basically they're 3/4 of an inch thick. And at that point, I'll have an inside stem, which would be 3 of these laminated, and an outside stem, which would be 3 of these laminated. And then I'll be able to shape the inside stem with some hand tools, probably a spoke shave in my plane, a block plane. And once that is shaped, I'll be able to put this on the strong back and the bow and the stern, and then we'll be ready to strip. Here's how that little cupcake thing inside this L. It's a 45-degree L. Allowed basically the steam to get in, and then really the water wasn't able to back up, back down the tube. And it just kept steam from escaping and everything. So worked out pretty well. Very, it was something we were going to probably throw away anyhow, because we didn't like those for baking. And I think for a time we made ice cubes with them, but they left the flavor in the ice cube. So, they really weren't doing us much good. So obviously it worked out here for me. And, very nice, quick makeshift steamer. And there's that little Presto teapot there, which today the ones that are made are they have an automatic shut off on them. So this old one here was just the ticket, because it was able to just run and boil water for the entire time. Well, I don't know that I'd want to use this much type of method for doing a lot more of this type of work, but doing a stem every now and then probably is no big deal. But you can see, hopefully you can see, I know with this GoPro the lens is a fisheye lens, but hopefully you can see the this pipe is just all twisted and bent after 20 minutes of steam. Well, my lamination did not work very well. As you can see, once I released the pressure off of the clamps that were holding this to the mold, they separated on the bend. So I don't know if that means I didn't steam them enough and get enough bend in them because they wanted to spring back, or if I just have bad glue, or any number of things, right? So, but it did it on both the inside and the outside lamination. So what that means is I have gone ahead and cut a new set of these. Thankfully I didn't try and laminate the other set, so this is just one, the bow or the stern, but it's a waste of ash, it's a waste of glue, it's a waste of time, and it's really kind of upsetting. So I don't know if I got some bad epoxy, whatever. There definitely is some spring back in this wood. It's probably sprung back 4 to 6 inches once I removed the original steam bent lamination strips from the mold, and I tied them up with a rope for a day, to try and keep the form, and even when I took the rope off, they sprung back a little bit. They did keep some bend, but obviously there's enough tension in there where it separated the laminations. You can see how the epoxy just sort of pulled apart there. And, this epoxy just, it's supposed to be a 5-minute epoxy. It just is, 2-3 hours later, still just kind of rubbery. So, maybe I just have a bad brand of epoxy. Anyhow, back to the drawing board. I'll have to do a little bit of research and see if I can figure out what has gone wrong here. I've already cut new slats for replacements, so I'll have to plane those down so that they're a 1/4 inch thick, and then go through the whole process of setting up the steamer, and rebending them, and etc., and so on and so forth. So, right now I'm thinking I maybe should use a different kind of glue. So I may go back to that polyurethane, I'm not sure. So, kind of not my day. I also broke another bandsaw blade. Which, I did buy much less expensive blades, but, still disappointing. Well, so I've re-steamed a new set of these slats to remake the stem here. And, I guess we'll see. I've gone forward and I've laminated the other set that I had using a different kind of glue. So I've used the polyurethane glue, which I've spoke about before. It's got some great qualities and it's got some undesirable qualities. This foam here, for instance, is a little bit undesirable. It takes a lot of effort to just, clean it up. It's pretty unwieldy to use, and you've got to work pretty fast to actually get it all clamped in place before you start setting. And anyhow, so I did it here. I have already unclamped the inner stem. I did that one first, and then I put it back on and did the outer stem. So where the other was giving way due to the tension that was in this, especially in this bend here, this one didn't really give way at all. It does still have some spring back, and you can see when I move that, it's got a little bit of spring back, about a ½ an inch there. And that's undesirable, but boy, it's not the say 6 inches that I was getting, and of course the kind of spring back that was that really caused the problem, the delamination of the epoxy. So anyhow, so I've already taken off about half these clamps. I am going to take off most of them except for the one on the end. Well, on each end, and I'll probably just leave them here at least overnight, clamped up, and see if that helps with some of the spring back. I'm not really planning on the fact that it will, but we'll see if it helps. And I'm leaving the other set that I steamed in, on the other mold. At least overnight, and probably a couple of days to see if that helps with the spring back. Anyhow, lesson maybe learned. So we'll see. All right, so Friday I was getting ready to shape my stems. And I went and I marked the center line and 1/8 inch wide track so that I know where to stop my my cut when I'm shaping it. And when I went to put it on the mold, it was too long on the bottom end. And I didn't really pay too much attention because it was probably like that. And so I decided, well, I know I cut one of these too long, happened to be the other end. And so I cut off a section of it. And now, of course, I have a gap. It's too small. It's too short because I just had the darn thing on backwards. So I have to remake another set of them. So I've actually broken out the steamer now 3 times. And I have made 7 sets of stems instead of 4. So, word to the wise, if you're doing it, is always make sure you check your measurements both ways before making a rash decision to cut. Anyhow, so today I'm just redoing them. I've already recut the new stems. It's just for the inner piece, the inner stem, and I have already steam bent them, and they're now drying. So probably I think tomorrow I'll be able to take them off and glue them up, and then try to clean them up as best I can. So right now I'm practicing shaping stems, and it's a good thing I have these old ones that aren't good to use, because I can use them to practice with. And so what I'm doing is using my spoke shave and my bench plane, and just going to shape those stems and see how much work it is and how difficult it is and all that kind of stuff. So so I'll be doing that probably tomorrow, shaping the inner stem on the stern, and then the next day I'll shape the inner stem on the bow, because I cut this one off. Anyhow, so I think Wednesday I will be stripping the boat.